everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is Hot Take Monday, and today's hot take I'm still really upset about from this morning, and I'll try to be civil about it. It's really hard for me because people piss me off. But today's hot take is that just because you're an anti-fast fashion activist doesn't mean you need to be so condescending to people. Like, you don't gotta treat people shitty. And I'm just gonna get into it because we need to talk about something that I feel like it goes on a lot in the fashion industry or fashion community, and it's just like this virtue signaling of like ethical fashion. This is how Barber's so-called ethical fashion activism turned into a full-on like character assassination. I know that sounds dramatic, a bit dramatic, when I called out a surface level hot take on fast fashion. So we're gonna unpack it because I literally didn't even like address her. She's the one who attacked me unprovoked. So here's the timeline. Someone threaded that you're not a girl's girl if you buy fast fashion. I replied, that's a really brainless take. There's so much more nuance to that. And everyone in the comments were like, does being a girl's girl and buying fast fashion have like any correlation? How is that correlated, right? Then Barber decided to cherry pick my reply without posting the original thread, so it looked like I was attacking her. She quote threaded me and unleashed her followers on me. That's basically what happened. She cherry picked my comment without context. Why would you do that if you're acting in good faith? If you actually want to have a conversation or dialogue and not just people like just agreeing with you, praising you or whatever, which we're gonna see. I only have a few screenshots because those were the screenshots I would upload to threads proving my point about her. I decided to delete or deactivate threads because it just wasn't good for me to be so upset early in the morning. Basically, she had a lot of bad faith moves, cherry picking and context stripping, quoting my comment as if it was like directed towards her, mobilizing her mob, like letting her followers call me unhinged or I need to take my meds. Or like one of her followers that was telling me that, she was like, you wouldn't say that to Barber if you knew who she was and like read her Wikipedia. I'm like, I wasn't even talking about her. I literally responded to my requote from Barber and I said, I'm not gonna fall for your virtue signaling. Like, I'm just not, and screaming Shein is bad doesn't do anything. Now her followers were like, how can you say that? All she does is say Shein is bad. You don't even know her work. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't. And so, you know, I just looked on her page and she's verified and she has a bunch of followers and she has a Patreon and she's an author, activist. That's what it says in her bio. And I was like, all right, like I can still have an opinion about fast fashion without having to write 25 theses. You know, I don't have to have a bunch of PhDs to tell you that there's a bunch of things that go into how we combat fast fashion, which I'll get into later. Then, as she continued this just like attacking me, she started using ad hominems over substance. So she basically, she literally said this. I have a screenshot of this. You're not smart enough to understand this, and that's just that. Why are you so condescending? Why are you like literally showing you have a superiority complex? I would think as an activist, part of your activism is having a dialogue with people in good faith, informing people of all the research you have done. Like if she said, oh, this is the research that I have done, that I have experienced, what I have seen, gave examples of that, or even maybe even quoted her book, I would even accept that. But the fact that she didn't and she resorted to insults instead of trying to conversate with me, I just think that just like put me like, I'm not gonna listen to anything you have to say because you can't even treat me like a human being without like insulting me. And her followers were just the same, and she let her followers continue to think that I was talking about her and like attacking her, which is such a bad faith move. Like it's so icky and gross. And then I don't need this white savior. Like me and Aja don't need this white savior like coming in right now. Like both of us don't need your shit. Like it's really annoying how she just like inserts herself into this. Like I'm so done. All the people that were calling me shit were like all like white people, I swear to God. And yes, Barber is a black woman. However, I feel like the way that she treated me was not acceptable in any way, especially being an activist and a public figure. And I just think like her followers gatekeeping knowledge and being like, well, if you actually read her book, then maybe you'd know something about and you wouldn't be so defensive. Excuse me, the only one defensive is Miss Aja over here because I literally didn't do anything besides respond to another person's thread. I know that's how social media works, but like not providing context is really fucking weird. And just this whole virtue signaling hypocrisy, preaching ethical fashion while refusing real dialogue solutions or empathy, and deflecting of real issues, pivoting from systemic solutions. How do we make fashion fair and accessible to a personal feud? Calling me names is really fucking weird, especially from an activist. If she wasn't an activist or a personal figure, I'd be like, okay, whatever the fuck, like fuck you, block you. But the fact that she like did that on her account is really telling. So the reason why this matters and why I'm talking about it is because activism, I'm sorry, I'm looking over here, I have a script. Activism is about flexing your credentials or building your own clout, which I feel like, my opinion, don't come at me.
You know what's good for me. That's my opinion! Don't you get it?
I feel like a lot of activists are chasing clout in their activism, just like performative activism, right? A lot of people, when we think of performative activism, we think of like the Black Square during the BLM movement. It's just like things that are so like in your face or there's no substance underneath it. What I try to do as someone that is also, I see the nuance in people buying fast fashion. Those, you know, thrift stores are getting overly priced and literally the same as fast fashion is so much cheaper even than thrift stores in a lot of cases. And I feel like I try to do my part in ways that I know I don't buy fast fashion, but I don't demonize people who do buy fast fashion. Everyone's case is different because we do have classes, and classism is what I felt was coming from the original thread. And also this person being classist and calling me stupid because I didn't understand what she was saying. This feels like to me, or seems like she was insinuating, intentional or not, that people who buy fast fashion are inherently not smart or stupid, and that's all there was to it, as she said. It's really fucking classist because people of all classes can have opinions, wrong and correct. I feel like should be about solidarity, meeting people where they are, whether they're on a student budget, supporting a family, somewhere in between, and giving them real actionable tools that they can implement in their daily lives to reduce fast fashion harm. Something really realistic than just screaming fast fashion is bad, which her followers have said that's not all she does. I don't want to look into what she does because what she has shown me is that she just doesn't like anyone that has anything remotely, I don't even want to say against, but even like, do you guys know what I mean? I don't get it. What I try to do personally as someone who's in the fast fashion industry, I try to make sure that I support my local fabric vendors being in LA, and especially right now they need our help more than ever. So if you are in LA, please support your local vendors in the fashion district. I really try to buy local since I'm so close to them now. Like I really take advantage of it. And even before, when I wasn't as close as I am now, I would still try to come out as much as I could to support those people who these are their livelihoods in such a historic part of Los Angeles. And because of everything happening with the raids and people being literally kidnapped and torn apart from their families, I'm sorry, Aja, but people are more worried about that than whether or not they want to bow down to your virtue signaling, which is something that I said that I would not do. And it's like she doesn't want me to have a voice or have an opinion because she is the end all be all and she's the only one that's correct, which is such a very weird way of promoting your activism. Really strange. I also want to do more clothing swaps. I had my first one and I plan to do more. And I also like to share that junior high LA, if you're in LA, they do have a sewing and mending class, and I think it's free in all ages. So groups like that who do activism, who actively give resources, who actively inform, I feel like those are the activists who are providing for the community. You can do whatever she wants and I can do whatever I want, but once you start telling me that I am not smart because you think that you're the smartest person in the room, that just screams that you're very insecure and that you need to feel like you're better than everyone. And allowing your followers to also act in bad faith, following your lead, your example, which is quite frankly explaining how her followers reacted, makes a lot of sense. Now, a better way forward forward is that we can talk about how we can build blueprints for real, compassionate, fast fashion work. Empathy first. Ask, why do people shop the way that they do? Own your past. Admit that you shopped fast fashion too. Share accessible alternatives, thrift hauls, clothing swap events, repair and mending tutorials, maybe even like, I don't know, community resources from where you live. Back systemic change. Support policy campaigns for living wages in garment hubs and textile waste regulation. I think it should start here in the US. There's so much sweatshops overseas, but there are so many sweatshops here as well that people don't really know or talk about. There are sweatshops in Italy, like Brandy Melville's sweatshop is in Italy. And just because it is in the US doesn't mean it's not fast fashion. Just because people are saying we want to bring US jobs back here, if it's US jobs and it's textiles, it can still be fast fashion sweatshops. There's so many sweatshops in the fashion district, and I think that is where we should start as people who live in the US, is start here, because how are we gonna go tell other countries to stop having sweatshops, have actual regulations, when we don't even do that ourselves? And I feel like that could have been a very big conversation, and also how it disenfranchises non-white people who have to go do these jobs to even survive, and also the nuance of those living in other countries who rely on these jobs, as bad as they are, as non-regulated as they are, as little pay as they are, is the only way that they can feed their families or go to school. That is the kind of nuance that I'm talking about when it comes to anti-fast fashion rhetoric, that a lot of people just want to use that rhetoric to demonize other people and to feel superior to them for the most part. Last thing is lead with kindness, engage with questions and not insults. I honestly don't remember what I was replying back, but honestly, if you insult me, I'm gonna turn that and give it back to you. So don't expect me to be taking your shit, because I won't, and I don't have to tolerate it at all, especially being unprovoked. I didn't even provoke this person, didn't know who she was, and now I know too much about her and I don't want to. If your platform is truly for people, not for clout and not for fulfilling your superiority complex, you can teach and inform and share tools and resources. You don't shame and you don't tell your followers to gatekeep behind a paywall. Stop the insults, take up the sewing kit, and let's build real solidarity in the fashion industry. Comment below what's one small step that you'll take this week to fight fast fashion without shame. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on all my socials, and let me know what you think about this hot take. You don't have to be a jerk just because you're an anti-fast fashion activist. Hit the bell for more Hot Take Mondays, and I will see you guys next Monday. See you guys next time. Bye.